horror movies. Mutilation, decapitation, torture. Does that sound entertaining? More blood than a blood bank. Have we got your attention?
Welcome back, terrestrials. In this episode, I'm going to be reviewing Willy's Wonderland. I literally just finished this movie. I turned it off, got another beer, and came to film this. I'm so excited for this. I was hesitant to pay $20 for it. Yeah, I paid $20 for it. But guess what? It's worth it because the movie's that good. And as you can see, I'm alone in this review. There's some movies that Jerry wants to do that I don't, and there's some movies that I want to do that Jerry doesn't. And in an effort to get the biggest array of films that we can out to you, the viewer, we're just going to do separate movies if there's something we want to do that the other doesn't. We will still be doing movies together, but we're also going to be doing solo ones. So look for his videos, look for my videos. They're still going to be under video waste. And yeah, let's roll right into Willy's. The plot of the movie is going to be in the description of the video. I'm just going to move right into the review, and I'm going to stick to the same format that we do when we do these videos together. It just seems a simpler way to get through all the aspects of the movie. So, starting with show stealer, Nicolas Cage. He doesn't say a single word in this entire movie. He makes a few grunting noises, but that's it. His character doesn't even have a name. In the credits, he's just called the janitor. He steals the show. He is the entire show. There are other characters in the movie, but he is the main character and he steals the show. So, yeah, show stealer, Nicolas Cage. So for the show breaker, the thing that took me out of the movie is the main character, the main girl outside of Nicolas Cage. She explains the entire movie. I guess that's an easy way to just get it out there, but I thought as a society we were smart enough to not need that in our movies, but they did it. I guess we're that dumb. I don't know. And the other show breaker for me is there's a super hoe character in this movie, and she just, I don't know, she just took me out of the movie. She was pointless. The majority of the other characters in this movie are pointless, but this one was completely unnecessary and in no way helped whatsoever. I know that sometimes with horror movies there's a character that is just a body to be killed. She's that, but worse. You just hope for her death. Whatever. Moving along, because this movie's so good, I don't want to stay on the negatives. There's a very few. So moving on, notable effects in this movie. All of the animatronics in this movie are fantastic. They use CGI to enhance them. The CGI is not great, but it works really well, and I really liked it. They trade in blood splatter for oil mist as Nicolas Cage is killing these animatronics. They're not bleeding, but there's mists of oil flying through the air. I thought it was brilliant. There's sparks flying when he's killing them instead of blood squirting out. The whole thing is just, it's great. Everything that they did was really good. They used strobe lights to hide the animatronics moving in certain parts, and it worked really well. So they nailed it with the effects in this one. Though they're not that high quality, they're still really good. Moving on into cinema wow. Again, the cinema wow factor of the flashing lights is fantastic. I really enjoyed it. I think it helped the movie a lot. And just the lighting in general in this movie is done really well. the camera shakes while he's fighting and beating these animatronics up. It's really helpful. It adds a layer to the kills in this movie. It's great. You have to see the movie to understand. I'm sure there's other movies that do it, mostly action movies, I think. Like your transporters or whatever, when they're fighting, the camera's jerking left and right and stuff to show how hard or how fast they're moving. Same thing in this, but it just works really well for the movie. Moving into the next category is quotable lines. Seeing as Nicolas Cage didn't have any lines in this movie, I really thought that there were going to be no quotable lines. And there really isn't. There's one. The secondary main character, the young woman, says while being dragged out of Willy's Wonderland that he's not trapped in here with them, they're trapped in here with him. That really just sets the tone for the movie, even though the tone has already been set at that point. It just drives it home, and it's a good line. So, moving on. That one moment. As Nicolas Cage is fighting these animatronics, he takes breaks. His watch beeps and he takes breaks. And there's one scene where he's getting ready to fight one of them and his watch beeps for his break time. And he hands the girl a knife and walks off and leaves her. Because it's break time. It's not his job right now. He's on break. There's also a scene while he's on his break that he is jamming to disco music and dancing while playing a pinball machine. It is absolutely fucking hilarious. That made the movie for me, honestly. The entire movie's good. Every kill, everything was really good in the movie. But that scene of him just disco dancing and jamming was awesome. That's, I would have paid just to see that. But moving on, the soundtrack and the score. There's a lot of kids' songs because he's in a kid's place like Chuck E. Cheese. He's just in an evil Chuck E. Cheese, essentially. And the animatronics are killing people, or him, trying to kill him. So there's a lot of kids' music, and it's pretty funny because there's a point where he goes to face off with a couple of the animatronics, and he kicks the jukebox and it starts playing Shoulders, Knees, and Toes. And he kicks it, and he does like a Fonzie thing to the jukebox to get it to play, and then that's what comes on. So it's pretty hilarious. But outside of that, there's a little bit of disco, there's a little bit of techno trance. I'm not really sure what to call it. I'm not versed in that genre of music, so I don't know where it falls. But it serves the movie right. It does a good job. It adds to the movie. It doesn't take away from the movie. So I didn't mind it. I enjoyed it. And the other thing that's not technically sound or score is the animatronic sounds. There's moments where there's a Tinkerbell type animatronic that walks around and you can hear the motors moving as she walks through, and they're all really good. They line up with her movements well. They just sound good. They did a good job with that. So I think that's worth mentioning. Moving on to meat and potatoes. This movie is a big 20-ounce steak. It is all meat. It takes very little time to get into the shit, and once you're in it, it doesn't stop, except for on break time. Now, on break time, it stops, but you're still entertained with delicious potatoes, I guess. The kind of potatoes that you're happy to be full on. Again, the disco scene. So yeah, it's all meat, and the potatoes are perfectly fine because there's so much meat to this movie. Now, the next one, money's worth. Abso-fucking-lutely. This movie was awesome. I would love to own a physical copy of it. If not, just add it to the library on my Apple TV. It's a great movie. I can't wait to watch it again. I'm going to give it a day or two, and I'm going to watch it again. But it's totally worth watching over and over again. It's that good. So that brings me to the wrap up and stars section of the video. The wrap up is this movie's fucking great. Watch it, pay the money, pay Nicolas Cage's taxes so that he can keep doing this, because it's such a good movie. I had so much fun watching it. I was really scared going into this because I was excited to see it. And I was hoping that it wasn't going to be a letdown. It did not let me down. It held up. Totally worth the $20. So, for stars, I was going to give it 4 stars. And then I saw Nicolas Cage dancing to disco music while playing a pinball machine. Guys, it's a 4.5 star movie. And we know from these other videos that we do, I'm pretty stingy about my 5 stars. So I'm not going to give it a full 5 stars, but I really want to. It's not quite on the level of Suspiria. Suspiria is a completely different thing. It's not on the level of a Halloween, the original Halloween. So I can't justify a 5-star review, but definitely it's 4.5 out of 5. It's such a fun movie. I cannot recommend it enough. Hopefully I've done a good job at covering aspects of the movie and make you want to watch it. If not, still watch it. And then in the comment section, tell me why it sucked if you think it sucked. And if you loved it, tell me why. I would love to talk about this movie. But yeah, so that's Willy's Wonderland. Like, subscribe, share, and I'll see you on the next review.